Alright guys, welcome back to another deck video, the last one I'm going to be recording today. I'm on a spree today, good job me. Today I'm going to be going over one of the most fun decks, one of the most challenging decks to build, one of the most challenging decks to play. It is a bananas amount of fun, like I said, to play the deck. However, it's awful. This deck is hot garbage. This deck sucks so much, but it does so many cool things. It does cool things, and like you can steal wins if you get really lucky, if your opponent's bad, if they can't find their hex or goop. I don't know, something. There's just a lot of ways to like easily counter this deck, and that's why it's so bad. But it's a blast. Anyways, it's called Holon Circle. If you don't know what Holon Circle does, prevent all effects of an attack, including damage done by either player is active. If an active Pokemon uses an attack, that attack ends, and discard this card. So it's basically just like a big giant like magical buffer wall that says whoever attacks into it destroys the Holon Circle and it goes away. So basically, we're going to try to abuse the crap out of this. So if you think in your mind like, okay, we're abusing the crap out of it, what do we need? We need something that does damage without attacking, first of all. We need something that will either prevent your opponent from attacking or slow them down at least. And we need a way to recover stadium cards over and over and over again. So, it's a tall order, it needs a lot to work, but let's dive into it. Boom. Here is your solution to a Pokemon that can deal damage without attacking. If you don't know what the Flygon does, it deals 10 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon between turns. So, if they have a whole bunch of Pokemon on their side of the field, you're going to plop 10 going to theirs, they're going to attack into you, Holon Circle is going to end, and they take 10 more damage, right? So, in a perfect world, you're going to be dealing 120 damage a turn with Sand Slammer, to spread out, obviously. So, that means, I'm going to just go ahead and fast forward the Pokemon here, we are going to be playing a 1/1/1 Dusknoir line. Now we're going to play the Dusknoir line because all that damage is spread around. We might not necessarily want all the damage spread around. We might want it a little bit more focused. So with a little bit extra focus, we're going to be able to take important knockouts and kind of hopefully slow your opponent down. You also know, or I should also say that we are playing just a weird 3-3-1 line, and that's because getting the Trapinches and the Vibravas out are super important. And you want to have a Vibrava on the bench. So, you know, active, bench, and then when this guy dies, you want to retriever it, evolve, and start finding a new one. So a 3-3-1 is to kind of ensure that we're going to get this Flygon up and running as soon as possible. This is like the first stage 2 you want to get. There are 3 stage 2s in the deck that all need to be set up. So, yikes, right? So we have the damage. We have the damage manipulator. Cool. What else are we going to have? Well, like I said, we do need a way to recover stadium cards, and that's going to come in the form of Gothitelle fighting Furious Fists. It says, once during your turn before you attack, you may discard any stadium card in play and switch it with a stadium card from your discard pile. Awesome. So if your opponent has a stadium in play, you can discard it and put one of yours in, or if you have one in play, you can switch it. That's how you get the Holon Circle back over and over again. You play a stadium, you switch it, Holon Circle's back into play. It does require you to play a little bit extra stadiums, but it does make up for the fact that we play almost 0 energy because you're using an ability to deal your damage. So Gothitelle switch, you have your Flygon, you're just going to play a quick 1/1/1 line. Gothitelle's important, but like, you know, it's not important enough to play a thicker line. You need this out second. I say Flygon first, Gothitelle second, and then move into your Dusknoir. And then the only other non-support Pokemon that we are playing is, you see it there in the corner already, Dialga Level X. It's kind of a weird, Level X, you don't see too much. But once during a turn you can announce Time Skip, and your opponent flips 2 coins. If they're both tails, your opponent doesn't get a turn, basically. They'll flip their coins. If it's double tails, they draw and they are forced just to pass. That means it keeps your Holon Circle in play for 1 extra turn. It deals an extra 120 damage. Awesome. If they flip double heads, however, your turn ends right away. Not the worst thing in the world, right? Because, hey, cool, now you're just Sand Slammer. You're not attacking anyways, so whatever. It has a lot of upside, a lot of upside, not a lot of downside. It's kind of a way to stall out the game in the mid-game when you're trying to get everything set up. It's not super important. It is probably the last thing you get set up out of these 4. But if you'll notice, there's already 4. You need to set up a level X and 3 stage 2s and a stage 1, because your bench is going to need to look like this. You want to have a Vibrava out so that when your Flygon dies, you need something else. Look at that bench. That's, well, yeah, that's 5. So you only need one other thing, and that's where you're going to be support Pokemon. Probably your starter Pokemon like Dunsparce, Spiritomb, that sort of thing. You're going to want your Claydol out. You're going to want your everything out. Like, this deck is so bad for bench space. And you need to set up so much stuff. You need to set up a stage 1, 3 stage 2s, and a level X, plus your support Pokemon, which is another stage 1, just to get the deck to work. And then your opponent just goes Hex, Goop, and then you can't do anything, right? So keep in mind that's why this deck is bad, but it is a bananas amount of fun. Let's take a look at some of the other cards before we dive into, or before I just write this deck off completely. You are playing your standard 10 support Pokemon. Oopsies, actually standard 10 plus 1. Forgot about that. Anything that plays Dusknoir should also play Porygon level Z. It's basically just, I've talked about this card before, it basically just does plus X amount of damage for every difference in their HP. So if you're de-evolving Porygons, it does an extra 30 damage, extra 20 damage, extra 30 damage, essentially in terms of the way you think about it in math. So you Dusknoir, make sure everything's the same, you de-evolve, take some good knockouts. That's why you put Porygon Z, because everyone plays Porygon as well. Porygon Z probably the best card, besides from Guzma, to come out of Burning Shadows for the U150 format. Okay, moving on to supporters. You're going to see a lot of standard looking stuff here. There's not actually anything too crazy. There's like 1 or 2 stuff you don't see normally. We're going to run an AZ, Chorus, Copycat, and Guzma. Going to Holon Mentor, extra, an extra collector is pretty much what it is, because you require so many benched Pokemon. Any ways to get out as many of those as possible is awesome. Karina, there are fighting Pokemon in the Flygon line, so keep that in mind. Lookers for extra draw power. You got Lysanders, you got Trump Card, Marley's Request, and Full Art Mallow. I put the Full Art Mallows in like the worst decks this time around, I guess. Collector, like I said, you need some extra Collector for all those bench Pokemon you need. Juniper, Pont, Sycamore, Rockets. You are playing a Scott. Search there for 3 cards in combination of supporters and stadiums, so this card will grab your Holons right away. Normally you could grab it with some other stuff, like computer search or that sort of thing, but if you want to save your computer search, Scott, if you ever have it, is awesome. Skyla, teammates, twins for sure, because you will be behind, and Wally. You're going to notice Lookers over Sages, because there's a lot of things that you just don't want to discard from this deck. So there's that to keep in mind. Moving on to items. There is a lot of items in this deck because, we have extra room due to no energies. Bill, you are playing the Captivating Pokepuff, Erica's Perfume, Target Whistle, and Pokeflute line. And that's just because your opponent could... Another way to counter this deck, not only can they counter it by just playing Hex or Goop over and over again, but they counter it by just not benching Pokemon. So Sand Slammer is doing 20 damage, 40 damage, 60 damage, nothing. So you play this to make sure you do more damage. You play Challenge. Your opponent will almost never accept your challenge because they don't want you to fill up your bench, but if they do accept the challenge, you can fill up your bench and put all of your evolutions that you need out. Computer Search, Escape Rope, Evo you are playing a Laser. This just does extra damage. It's really good with Dusknoir based decks. Invention, Item Finder, Junkar, and Level Ball. We're going to see a Luxury Ball as well. Misty's Wrath, Pal Pad. You're going to play Breeder and Rare Candy, obviously, because there's so many Stage 2s in this deck. Pokemon Center, you don't really have to worry about discarding energies, because there was only 2 in the deck. So Pokemon Center to keep all your stuff healthy. You could play a Max Potion as well, but since everything's not having energies, Center just makes a little bit more sense. Communication, you are playing a lot of recovery options. So we're playing Retriever, we're playing Stretcher, we're playing Time Space Distortion. You'll notice there's no Super Rod in the deck, is because these act as your Super Rods if you want to shuffle them back in, and there's no basic energies in the deck. So these 3 awesome recovery options. If you wanted more recovery, go Sacred Ash next, and then Super Rod. Oak, Scoop Up, Swoop Teleporter to save your bench space because it's a lot. Timer Ball because it's almost all evolutions. Level Ball versus Seeker, and Windstorm. A lot of stuff going on here. All of it kind of makes sense though with this deck. You need the stuff to keep your opponent's bench full and your bench the way that you want it to. You want to search for all of your evolutions. There's so many evolutions in this deck. Put a Pokemon Trader in, put I don't know, a friend ball in, a fast ball, if you want extra search. Moving on to stadiums. Now this is another interesting little part of the deck. You have your Holon Circle, right? One of your ways your opponent can counter this deck is just by playing their own stadium. They just go boop, stadium, and then Holon Circle, they attack into you. Or they go windstorm and attack into you. But another way this deck kind of flaunters is if you don't have a stadium, right? Because Holon Circle gets discarded after they attack. And Gothitelle needs to have a stadium to switch. So there's no stadium in play, you can't get Holon Circle back. So you have to play a lot of stadiums to get your Holon Circle back. Kind of crazy. So what stadiums are we going to play? Well, we're going to play stadiums that only benefit you, right? Because these stadiums are only going to stay in play for like 2 seconds. You're going to play them, use their effect, and then you're going to switch them with Holon Circle so that the Holon Circle is your ending stadium at the end of your turn. So there's actually not a lot of stadiums that benefit just you on your turn. Most all stadiums are just like a lasting effect, stuff like Silent Lab, stuff like something is like Free Retreat. Stuff that says your metal Pokemon can't be affected by special conditions, that sort of thing. Stuff where it's not going to benefit you unless it's your opponent's turn. So we're going to take a look here. Ancient Ruins is a kind of a weirder card from Skyridge. If you don't have a supporter in your hand, you can show your opponent your hand and then search a deck for a supporter. It's cool there. Battle City, you can flip a coin if heads, draw a card. Only benefits you. Broken Time Space, yeah, benefits both players, but you need it to get all of your setup. Broken Time Space is everything. Champions Festival for extra heal. If your opponent's playing like a spread deck, you Champions Festival, heal 60 damage from your side, and then flip it with Holon Circle. Lucky Stadium, same as Battle City, flip a coin if heads, draw a card. And since we're on that discussion anyway, Speed Stadium, you flip a coin until you get heads, or you flip a coin until you get tails, draw a card for each heads. Moonlight Stadium, it's going to be Free Retreat for Psychic and Dark Pokemon. This is in case of like Lysander stall your Gothitelle or your Dusknoir. You can play the Moonlight Stadium, retreat it, switch it for Holon Circle. Pokemon Contest Hall, flip a coin if heads, search a deck for a basic Pokemon and a tool, put them down. You have Power Tree. Whoopsies. I think we put Power Tree in when we had basics, and then I didn't switch it out after we stopped playing basics. This card's useless in the deck. Never mind. Find something better to play, or play at least like one basic energy. That's what I would do. I would play one basic energy, and you can still play Power Tree. What it does is if you don't have special energies in your discard pile, you can get a basic energy back. So yeah, we play 2 specials. So Power Tree might not be the right play. Play one basic energy, trump card the other ones back in, and then you can get an energy whenever you need. Shrine of Memories, just in case you do want to attack, you do have the Shrine of Options memory, option. There are a lot of cool stage ones, the Vibrava, for instance, does 20 damage for every energy in their discard pile. So you do play the Shrine, just on the off chance that you do need to attack. Obviously you can't have Holon Circle out when you do that. And then Skyfield, because bench space is an issue. So, Power Tree, I don't know what you would switch it for. There's a lot of different options. Gosh, yeah, I don't know what you would switch this for. But keep it in, play one basic energy, or just use it as like your supporter to switch, like another stadium to switch. You learn so much when you go through these decks. Anyways, moving on here, you have Fluffy Berry and Floatstone. You know, Free Retreat on a lot of things. You have a lot of fatties, so you need those. You have Focus Sash as well, and you might be thinking, well, this is weird. This could be put on your Vibrava. If you have a Vibrava on your bench with a fighting type, Focus Sash is super good there. And then Focus Band to hopefully keep your Flygon alive a little extra longer. You are only actually playing 2 of the Elite Four plus Dowsing Machine. Reason being is because Super Energy removal requires you to have an energy on your side of the field. You only play 2, so it's not likely that's ever going to happen a lot. And then you never want to Goop, because Goop's going to shut off Sand Slammer, and you don't want to shut off Sand Slammer. So you don't play both of those for those reasons, but you still play the Dowsing Machine for its recovery. And then energies, we're going to play Rescue Energy and Call Energy. Call Energy good in the early game to start setup, and then Rescue Energy to make sure that Flygon gets bounced back all the time. So yeah, that's the deck. Super funky deck, but is a lot of fun once you get the lock out. It just requires so much to get out. Gosh, yeah. So if you have any questions on the deck, please let me know. If not, hope you guys enjoyed watching.